Jonstealth here, and today we have another video of the Void Gauntlet and how to basically DPS and do the most amount of damage. So I've done some testing, and this is hands down going to be the best for just like PvP, not PvP, PvE. So you can see I went with Intel, quite a bit of Intel, a little bit of Focus, and then some Constitution. So yeah, that's not too bad. I went with the Void Blade because it does the most amount of damage, and then I went with the Void Collar because every time you do 6 hits, then you can heal yourself, which is actually very, very good. And then I went with the Oblivion because the reason why is because it does AoE damage, which is 30%, which actually does a lot of damage. And then I went with the Withering, which is also good, which kind of reduces the damage, and then the Stam. I went with the Stam, and then I went with the Orb of Decay, and then I went with the basically Draining just to get some more mana back. So that's basically my stats, and if you follow those stats, it makes it very easy for you guys to do really well. And then I went with basically Intel. Anything with concentration or focus are the 3 main areas that you want to focus on. So the Gauntlet's going to be very important. I gemmed it with nature because Void Gauntlets are weak against nature. Lost. So the nature will help me boost up my damage. So when I'm fighting these guys, I think they're the lost. I would do extra damage, so I don't do that bad. And then of course the live staff. So anything with like focus or intel is going to be just fine. So what I like to do is that I really don't like those yellow ghosts because they take out so much of my stamina. So when you're farming in this area, you'll get the highest XP the fastest amount possible. You could literally hit 20 in probably about 3 hours, maybe 4 hours, with just farming these guys by yourself. So what I do is I always hit the AoE damage down because it literally hurts them a lot, and you have to hit the get the Void Blade out because it also gives you fortification. And then you want to take a quick few swipes, and then after when you take a few swipes, then you hit the Q button, which is the Orb of Decay, hits them. Once it comes back, it heals you. So you want to get into that Orb of Decay. So basically I'm going to try to hit these guys as fast as possible because it reduces my cooldowns because they're getting debuffed, and I have a debuff basically that reduces my cooldowns every time they have 3 stacks or something like that. So that's why they're all pretty much dead already. So I'm always trying to spam the AoE and the ice, the Void Blade as fast as I possibly can. So it gets a little bit tricky in a lot of situations where the guys are always knocking you down, so keep that in mind. It's actually very difficult to fight those guys, so if you could farm in an area where they don't knock you down all the time, it's ideal and makes like the Void Gauntlet so much more easier. So what I usually do is I usually keep the staff up because I want to place the AoE so I could just basically go into that one spot and get my AoE and get my heals. So obviously the mobs are going to try to knock you away and take you out of that AoE because like, well, they have some pretty good damage. So you have to be very careful. This spot became a little bit tricky just because I also was dealing with just ad spawning, and that yellow ghost is just such a pain, you know, to deal with. So yeah, like they're just not fun at all. So they drain your stamina like a lot, and it's you really just want to avoid them as much as you can. See, I'm just getting hit like all the time by those guys. So yeah, you have to be very careful about fighting these guys, especially when there's multiple of them. I think once it hits like 4 or so, like you're gonna really just die because you're just gonna get hit all the time. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, and then yeah, but I still managed to take out like 10 to 20 guys, so it's like it's not that bad. So but like you'll see later on in the video where I take a little bit too much guys and it becomes really difficult. In that situation you kind of just want to run away and get out. So yeah, just keep that in mind because it's gonna ruin your run. So yeah, you'll see that later on in the video. It becomes very difficult, so just keep that in mind, and you'll see basically how to get out of a sticky situation like that. So yeah, just enjoy the video. So guys, hope you guys liked the video. Right now, like that's kind of the best build I see for like just like doing DPS wise. You do have to get two, like you should get multiple void gauntlets, probably two at the max, just to like counter like certain types of mobs, because like void gauntlets also do a little bit less damage. I forget what it was, like it's not like, I think it's like maybe agents or something, I forget. But whenever you have like forcing certain types of mobs, putting the socketed jet in there is going to really definitely help out with like the counter. And yeah, just completely just do that, and it's going to really help you guys out. So I hope you guys like this video. Like and share and subscribe. If you guys dislike the video, dislike it. Also comment below what your current spec that you guys are doing and how well your spec is doing for like the DPS and healing wise. It's still like, you know, the void gauntlet, you still have to get used to it and whatnot, so it's not the easiest, but it's definitely a lot of fun playing this spec, because there's like you could do quite a bit of massive big pools. Like you can see right here. I'm just trying to die actually because I want to go with Cutlass because that's I'm gonna make a farm video there, right? So, but like technically you could pull these guys with no problem whatsoever. Yeah, it's a fun spec, man. So I hope you guys like this video. Until then, I will see you guys in the next video.